Here are 7 big retirement expenses that we really need to account for and then just also plan ahead for. And doing so is going to make us fully prepared for this next stage. It's kind of funny that, as we think about retirement expenses, then a lot of people think about things like adding the travel budget or adding the additional entertainment bucket or budget because we've got all this time now. However, some of the biggest expenses that we're going to have are not those. Now, one of the things to be aware of is that much of our spending that we have while we're working, it's actually just going to carry over into retirement, right? And now some things might drop off like commuting expense, or maybe if you're going to lunch every day at work or something like that. But a lot of the things are going to carry over and we're just going to be adding on top of them. So let's get into what these expenses are and then how you can prepare for them. And then also, if you have ideas as you're listening, let me know in the comments what I missed. There's other people that have said they really get a lot of value when they hear or read other people's comments in similar stage of life as them. So if you've got an idea, put it down there. But let's get into the first one, and it's probably on your mind, but let's put some numbers to it. And that's healthcare, right? If you retire before 65, the average couple could spend up to $17K out of pocket each year until they enroll in Medicare at age 65. And that's according to Kiplinger. But if you're 65, the expenses are a little bit less, which is great. You've got Medicare. But over time, healthcare spending is likely to be one of the bigger expenses that we face in retirement. And let me just pull up my iPad here to look at a couple numbers. So I'll include these links below, but median annual spending by health status. So if we've got someone who's low risk and ultimate health, here is just an example of what expenses could be per year, medium risk. And then if you're high risk, if you're doing some of these things here. And the other thing to think about is the inflation rate of what medical expenses might be. Now, historically, we've seen that the inflation rate of medical, and let's see if we can zoom in on this. The blue is all goods and services is the blue, and then medical care is here. So right now, doesn't look too bad, but let's look at it in a different view. So blue is all goods and services and what the inflation rate is over time, and then green is actual medical care. Now, this could change in the future with technology. We don't know, but it's at least something to model in to a plan as we're mapping out these expenses and where they could be going in the future. The next expense to think about that many people know about, but they believe that it's going down in retirement, it's taxes. But a lot of people are surprised when they actually get to retirement and then they realize that taxes go up. Now, maybe not in the first year. Again, this depends. If you're living off Social Security or a brokerage or a bank account, you don't have to worry about a big tax issue, most likely. But if you're like a lot of our clients, then you might start realizing that taxes in retirement might actually go up. And many times we see sort of like a dip in expenses, in taxes, right after the retirement date here, because we're working, income's up here, and then all of a sudden we don't have work income anymore, and a lot of times taxes decline. But what happens later in life is as you get into your 70s, you actually have to start taking out of your IRAs and pre-tax monies, and a lot of times we see taxes go up for those people who have a lot saved in those pre-tax accounts. Now, your 70s could be a ways off, right? But if paying the least amount of taxes over your lifetime is important, then we should really be thinking about it now and making a plan for it. At least others have found a lot of benefit in doing this. And the other thing to note here too is that the government's got a few strategies here to reduce national debt. Two of the big ones are taxes and inflation, right? Which leads a lot of people to think that tax rates could be going up in the future. And one of the things that I was looking at every so often, I'll look at, and maybe you understand this too, but taxes could be cyclical, right? The tax rates could be cyclical. Right now, we're at, could be historically lower tax rates. Again, we don't know what's happening. It's good to plan for a few different what-if scenarios here. Again, this is why having an ongoing system of tax planning and just tax review and just tax efficient withdrawal strategy can be so important here. I did another video called how to get more into Roth, which a lot of people ask about when we have conversations with them. And I'll link to that here or below so you can watch that one too. It shows really just the impact of just a little bit of planning and how it could actually save millions over someone's lifetime.